mentioned your siblings each finding their own way to break out of it. How did you find your way?
I think my way was by my way was kind of by just kind of creating my own mold in a way. Many of my I'd li- I liked to think when I had moved here that many of my siblings did not really have to live with the issue of being away from our father um, in such a way that I did. And so I used that as kind of a way to break the mold by becoming someone that I was not at the time. Um, my mother, when my parents separated and we moved here, many believed that she would suffer terribly from stress and from many issues um, that kind of deal with just not having money of your own. They, many people just believe that you know we would only be able to survive off of my dad's wealth. And so when they separated and we moved here, a lot of people used to tell my mom that she would likely die from the stress of trying to, make a way in Nigeria, make a life in America with three kids and such a huge figure being your opponent in a way in court cases and in Nigeria. So I said um, for me to not lose my mother, I would have to kind of break from what I used to be, which was, just a mild mannered child. And I would have to force myself to grow in a way that I had never expected in order to take on a lot of responsibility that would alleviate the stress from my mom and hopefully, keep her alive, which we thank God that she's still alive to this day. Um, I fought to, I mainly fought against myself by just doing my best to be there for my mom, understand things I had no business understanding, court, different documents, learning different things like how to handle bills and how to, when you get them, how do you deal with them? What can you do? This and that. And so from a young age, I kind of started to emerge as the head of my household, although I didn't work. And so it got to the point where really my mom would just give me her card. I even managed to memorize my mom's 4 or 5 credit cards, all numbers, expiration dates, and CVV. She tells me which bank to use, and I call whatever bill to pay, and I just, off the top of my head, just read off the card, tell them, handle it, tell my mom, hey, it's handled, I've got it. And so that was my way, at least in my head, of breaking out. And I believed that it didn't matter as much of me trying to break away from who my dad was, but mattered more that me trying to be there for my family and prove to my family that we definitely would never need um, another male figure. Um, yeah, so
And at the time that you're describing, you were how old? Maybe 15?
not even 15. I was 9. So I came here when I was 9, and it was an almost immediate thing. We came here in May, through the summers. I enjoyed, but by October of that year that we came, things started to look very, I think that was my thrust into the adult world in a way, meaning that I had to kind of grow up and start to understand things I had never understood, handle things that I never knew even existed.